Hi everyone, my name is Unique and I'm a 16-year-old junior at Garrison Forest School. And here are my ticket stubs. I really enjoyed the movie Selma, not because of the music, which was great, or the actors and actresses who did a phenomenal job, but it was because it brought to life one of the historical events that made Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. one of the most recognized civil rights leaders of his time. But it showed a personal side of Dr. King that not many people knew about. Today, there are still issues surrounding racial driven violence between African Americans and police officers, just like in the movie. Men like Michael Brown and Eric Garner and Tamir Rice, as well as many others in the past, have been killed by police officers, although there was no evidence against them. Yet, the police were not penalized for their actions. Change can start with the police, who are sworn to protect the civilians of the towns and states. In light of recent events, officers should be taught the steps of how to effectively and safely apprehend a suspect without harming themselves or the other person. After a certain number of years in service, police should be required to take a crash course on the tactical methods that they should use or could have used instead. And if police officers cause an unnecessary death, there will be consequences that will definitely be enforced. If a person commits voluntary or involuntary manslaughter, they are subject to a fine and up to 10 years in prison. Yet there have been very few cases where an officer was both accused and convicted of the crime. People need to educate themselves about similar situations that happen even when it is not in their neighborhood. During Selma, the only way that change started was when the abuse was televised to homes all around the world, even to those of different ethnicities, religion, and opinions. Many people now still don't understand what happened in Ferguson, and those who do want something done about it. In many cases, through social media, justice was given after a large amount of pushback from people all over the world on sites like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Tumblr, etc. And African Americans, despite being a large percentage of victims, should be responsible for their actions first, but also know about the injustices and keep in mind the injustices that we are subjected to and how to cope daily. Tactics such as keeping hands out of their pockets and not making sudden moves will help prevent suspicion that may put them in danger with the police. Seeing the movie made me want to do more to peacefully create awareness about these issues because awareness leads to support, and with enough support, change can happen. I will do this by sharing facts with my classmates while also learning from my peers and using social media sites to post, repost articles, and other forms of information about such issues. This will allow me to peacefully advance my rights as a citizen and an African American. Because of the Black Lives Matter campaign recently on social media, President Barack Obama has signed an order that will establish a task force to help mend the relationship between African Americans and law enforcement and their communities. The problems we face today are not as apparent and as extreme as it was in Selma, but there is still more that can be done to ensure that racism is no longer a part of our society. Peace is the only way that change can start because violence only produces violence. Thank you and have a good night.